Hey everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I've got a video for you using some Heffy Doodle products, including the Hello Squeakheart stamp set and coordinating dies, and the Heffy Cuts word die Hey. I'm starting off my card today by using some washi tape to create some masked stripes, and I'm doing this because I want to use my Distress Oxide inks to create some stripes as a pattern background. And I'm starting off just eyeballing these, seeing if I can get them as straight as possible. I'm not too worried because you're not going to notice if they're not perfect, but I am putting them on my hands so that they don't stick as much because I don't want the paper to rip underneath them, especially on the edges. I have a little problem with that with this last one I'm putting on, but for the most part, it went pretty smoothly. So now I'm just putting down my craft mat and adding that Distress Oxide ink. I'm using the color Fossilized Amber because I just thought that was a nice yellow. It would look kind of like cheese for this little mouse that I'm going to put on my card. And I'm just ink blending it on over those open spaces, making sure that I get all of them covered pretty well. Doesn't matter if it's too even because I spray some water on there with my Distress Stripe sprayer, and I'm just blotting that up with a paper towel to pull that water up. So now I'm just peeling off these washi strips, and I'm just being very careful, and it looks like I'm going fast, but that's because I've sped it up. And I went pretty slow to pull those up so as not to ruin the paper. I've got a scrap of 110-pound Recollections paper that I'm using today to stamp my little mouse on. And I'm using my Misty stamping tool just to ensure that I get a nice crisp stamp. I'm also using the My Favorite Things, it's their new Extreme Black ink, and I've been really liking this ink especially for using my Copics because it's compatible with alcohol markers. It just seems to work really well. So you'll see here I stamped this little mouse, and then I actually have two there because I didn't like the way the first one turned out. In reality, looking at them on the video, they're very, very similar. I don't know what I didn't like about that first one, but I decided to do it again. So I'm just using my Copics there. I've got E31, E51, and E50, and then a little R20 for his cheek. And then I did use a little Copic colorless blender just to make his tummy and nose whiter. And then I've got my coordinating dies for those Hello Squeakheart mice, which are so fun because they cut out their little, I don't know, are they called paws or just hands? I'm not sure. So then I cut a strip of black paper, and this is for my Hey die, and I cut it just long enough so that it fit one up and down, but I could fit 3 across. Sorry if you can hear the cats in the background. They're crying at me. It's time for bed. So then I'm going to glue those together just to create a little bit more of a focal point embellishment for my card. Kind of looks like chipboard when they're all glued together. And I just did 3 of those for a little dimension. And they turned out really well. I used my little picker there to get some of that excess glue that squirted out. But I just use a little bit of that Tombow liquid glue to keep them together. That stuff stays. Once it's on, it is on. So there's my Hey die there. And I've just got one more piece left to make for the card before I can put it all together. And that is a little banner strip that I'm going to make that says Squeakheart. And to do this, I'm going to use some really pretty Lawn Fawn paper here. I'm not sure the exact color. It's a light blue color though, and it's just really pretty. I'm going to need to buy a whole pack of it. But I just stamped it in Versamark ink, and before I did that, I used my powder tool on it just so that none of the powder stuck where it wasn't supposed to. So now I'm going to use my Strips of Ease dies, and I've never cut these apart before, but for this one I needed to, just to make sure I got it straight. And I'm just going to line it up. The nice thing is they're open, so you can line it up really easily over your stamped words, and you just line it up and then it cuts it perfectly for you. So now I've got that nice little strip that says Squeakheart, and I'm going to glue down my hay dye with some more liquid glue. Just putting that right in the center there. That one's going on with straight liquid glue. The rest I'm using some foam tape for, because I wanted them to kind of match up with that hay dye in the dimension level. So that mouse is going on there. And then for the Squeakheart, that is going over the Y. So I decided I just needed some foam tape on either end, because that Y was going to hold it up in the middle. And then I'm just eyeballing it again, trying to make it as straight as possible. So once I've got it good and straight, I'll pat it down, and then I've got my card base here, and I'm just going to use my ATG gun and put some adhesive on the back of that panel, and I can then apply it to my card base. And my card is pretty much done. Super quick and easy card. You could do so many different things with this design. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for stopping by.